This is how much we know about movies. We if you want a raw review of movies, you're getting it right here because we don't know shit.
Dad! Oh, fuck, I don't know, man. Is that like nostalgia purposes for kids these age?
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
We get that, Pop.
Fine, I'll Google it through the
I
magic
mean, you don't
of
have
podcasting.
to Google it. I'm just saying, just take it out.
No.
Not bring it out, or just be better prepared.
Now I'm shut your fucking mouth.
I am your father.
Man, sometimes I wish like things would stay at a simpler time mentality.
Welcome to the Two Dads Review podcast. You good? You happy? Did you make yourself more happy? Did you make a garage trip like you should have so you feel in a better goddamn mood?
Well, you're lucky I found music, because I stumbled across two, like, amazing ladies. Like, that just, like, I opened up Amazon Music, and it was, like, stuff you may like. And I was like, all right. So I was
Maybe I will.
through. Yeah, right? So I was scrolling through, and a lot of it was, like, albums. And I was like, I feel like half of these are already in my fucking library. Like, why are you showing me shit I already got? You know, but it's like, there's one extra song, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, dude, like, come on, guys. Like, you gotta know that I don't need to see that again. But then I started seeing, like, new stuff. And Doja Cat was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I never heard any of this. But there was a beautiful woman on the cover. And I was like, well, with that name and that picture, I'm gonna fucking click it. So I was doing what I do. Like, I listened to, like, 15 seconds. And then I kind of, like, skip it to the middle to, like, see how the song changes up. And then if I, like it, I just start it right from the beginning.
Let me hear the hook.
But if I don't hear anything that I really like through it, I just kind of keep going, you know? So I got, like, 4 or 5 songs in on, like, the album. And I was like, all right. And then, like, one came on, and I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And that one was real fun. And I was like, all right, cool. And then the next couple were, like, there, and I was like, all right, I'll give the whole album a try. So that turned out to be really fun. And then there was another one, and her name is Lizzo. And I don't want to sound rude, but there's no other way to describe this. The cover of the album, which I believe is her, because I officially have not Googled her name yet, but is a big, beautiful black woman just stark naked, like sitting there. Like very just, I'm in my birthday suit, what's up? So that album just like caught my attention right from the bat. And I was like, all right, man, I'm just going to keep clicking half-naked women albums right now because it seems to be on a winning streak. And holy shit, dude. Like, she has got like a soulful voice, and then she's got like this fun, almost like Def Jam poetry, like rap style, kinda. And like she can fucking, dude, I was like, holy shit, man. And like so far, I think I'm 3 songs into the album. Now, granted, I have it on shuffle, so I don't know what order this is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I like everything so far. Like, I was fucking boogieing down. I was like, all right, this is good.
Oh boy. I don't even know how to start this with you because I really kind of agree with part of what you're going to say to a certain extent. Do you want to, you know what, for our listeners who have been here for at least these 13 episodes reviews, do you want to go ahead and just get it out right now? Just go ahead and lay it all out right now. I'm going to shut up. You may get a from me or something, but other than that, you just go on with it. Hit it.
I don't even know if it's going to be as bad as it was earlier because now I just feel good and I've had time to like cool off. But man, like, fuck this season. Like, this season just, like, I tweeted about it. Like, you could have just watched this episode and caught every fucking important piece of information needed. Like, they could have just did that clip. It's fucking EP1. Like, and then I don't know, man. It was just a giant waste of my fucking time. Like, to the point, like, by the end of this season, I don't care for anybody on the crew. Like, I felt like everybody that actually got to meet in season 1, like 3 episodes in, they were just like, nah, man, it's just yo, homie, put that camera right over fucking Michael's shoulder. We're dandruff. Let's go.
Just let her
That's
wear it.
We got it. Yeah. And like, cool. I don't mind that. I just, like, that's what it needs to be then. You know what I'm saying? But then they went and did this like immortality thing real quick for a time loop that really took us fucking nowhere. Like, just absolutely nowhere. Like, they went fucking months or whatever this was, and they literally just went like, the whole fucking episode was nothing. It was just a fucking flashback of all the shit we already watched, and then Michael in like fucking Superman pose, you know, flying off. It just, there was just shit, just stupid shit, man. Like, and I don't know, man. That's why I fucking hate time travel, because everyone always does with time travel is this fucking loop. Like, we're really just gonna do all this forward shit, really, because all it is just a time thing. We're gonna go back in time and fucking give ourselves clues, because that's the only thing anybody would ever do with time, right, Ted? Yeah, Bill. Fuck, man. Like, god damn it.
Okay. You're not wrong. Really. And I hate saying that as a Trekkie. Is like, you're not wrong. Okay, yes, there are some major cop-outs in this episode and some major, like, ham-fisted, like smashes of, look, we're gonna fix it all right here in this 10 minutes. Let's fix this all. And so everybody stops, like, I feel like that, yes, fans are gonna have emotions about your show, and fans are going to have, anything you do is going to divide people, and you're going to learn about it online now more than you would back in the day. But stop right. If you're going to do it, then take the time to craft it. If you're going to ham-fist it in the last 10 minutes, then why even do it? Like, why even, you're not going to make anybody happy. People who didn't care, who are just going to go with you for the ride and just watch your show and enjoy it because we're Trek fans and we like watching Star Trek on TV, and we don't care if every little tiny bit of canon lines up, or, you know, you can just one line it somewhere. If you want to just take things and just one line them, great. But you're ham fist everything that everybody's complained about all in the last 10 minutes and make it all okay, then I just feel like you're just pandering to us. It's like, then don't listen to us. Write the show you want to write. Like, what I feel like when I watch this show next season, whether or not you do that, or I have to have a replacement co-host for 14 episodes, I don't want to have to find somebody else. I'm hoping in a year you'll kind of, the scab will have healed from this episode.
Yeah, I mean, it most likely will. Like,
because hear me out. Hear me out real quick.
Yeah,
I feel like what this whole team, and I'm not talking down to the team of writers and producers and executive producers, and goddamn, there's a whole bunch of co-producers. When I'm watching those credits, I was like, Jesus, I don't want to talk down to them. I feel like they stuck themselves in this time period. I feel like the show they want to do is season 3. Like, you're going to see what they really want to do in season 3 because they're ahead of everything, and they're to sound really douchey, they're really where no one has gone before. Like, they're in a portion of time in this timeline we've never seen. So you can do whatever, and that's great.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, I feel that's the end game.
Yeah.
Right? You know, which I'm really not angry with. I like that end game. I just wish the way you would have got me to it was just flat out better. I'm not gonna lie. Like, after season 1, for a dude who's just kind of watched Star Trek here and there, was like, hey man, I can't complain about it, but I also can't say like I'm fucking totally into it. I was like, I really like this show. I enjoy this show. Like, I'm not telling you I'm gonna go back and watch old shit, but I like it this. And like, after this season, by the end of it, I was like, everything that you guys like all the equity that I felt we had built together in the first season, we're not. And I remember like reading shit where everyone was just like, fuck it, this show just ain't mine. Like, like, hey man, do you guys like wave a rebel flag too? Like, you're fucking hardcore. Like, just like just unwavering on it. And I was like, really, guys? I mean, come on, And now, like, I'm after this season, I'm like, yeah, fucking, where's my flag? I guess because fuck this show. I mean, I was like, oh my god, like, how could I never been fucked with for 14 episodes like that. Just, I mean, like, I felt like everybody, everywhere by like episode 5 was like, yeah, dude, I know what's gonna happen. Like, there's a few gaps that I don't really know how you're gonna play out, but by like 10 minutes into the next episode, you're like, oh, well, that's fucking filled in. Got it. Mm-hmm. Like, I literally know the game plan, guys. Like, whatever. And this episode was just cool visually.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about the things that were good. Let's talk about the good points of this episode. They spared no expense on CG. Any of the CG was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no. And
just minutes after minutes of lined up, like, the shots back and forth between, like, even to the point of, like, the crew in the bridge. It wasn't just a bunch of folks, because you watch old school, even like TNG, they started blowing up consoles more in TNG, but like you watch like the original series and a lot of TNG, they get like the ship gets hit, you get a whole bunch of people who you can tell someone behind the cameras going, everybody lean that way, like, and everybody would just like shove themselves. But like this one, people are stumbling, and then you've got just so much CG going on in those space battles, and I feel like I can't pick a moment in this season, or maybe even the whole series so far, where CG's been like iffy. It's always been like spot on, like where they've spent a lot of their money is like CG's got to look on point.
Oh yeah, no, it's a beautiful show, and I actually like all of the actors. Like, I'm just pissing it more of the other actors a little bit, and I'm cool with Pike being left behind. Like, we kind of all, like, knew that was going to happen, Mm-hmm. I mean, I also mean, like, I'm cool with him being left behind, like, if he doesn't get his show. Like, I think it would be super dope if he fucking did, because he's easily by far, like,
the best part of the season.
No, come fight me. The best fucking captain the show's ever had. Like, I don't give a shit.
Nope, I'm on board with him. He's my number one now.
He is the number one, and hands down, if you tried to go the old bare knuckle fisticuffs with him, he'll fuck any of the other captains up too. So he is the best captain.
Yep. Damn it. He's very diplomatic in the Picard sense, and he could whoop your fucking ass in the Kirk sense. So yeah. He was climbing the charts on my favorite captains, and he surpassed it. And he's CBS listens. He was between this whole, but most of this season, when he's seen, especially towards the end, when people realized, oh, okay, there is no set show for him. People have been putting out petitions, and he sees them, and he's like tweeted his thankfulness, and like it's amazing the outpouring you guys are doing for this. He goes, CBS listens, they see this stuff, so keep talking about it, keep asking for it, and we may get it. Nothing's in the pipeline right now, but the George O show isn't going to start for at least a year. Picard's series is supposed to start. You're supposed to have the premiere by the end of 2019 or beginning of 2020, but it's a while away. So, they could if they could just tease us and tell us they're in discussions about it, everybody would just flip their shit, and I would watch the hell out of that show.
It'd be almost like cool is because it seems to be like a lot of the shows are kind of getting like really character centric. Mm-hmm. Like, it'll be the Pike show.
Yeah.
And then number one.
Mm-hmm. It'll be Spock and Pike and number one. That'll be the
and like that'll be your like holy trinity right there. Then everybody else will be kind of a revolving door.
Correct.
Basically.
Absolutely.
And then, basically it's Michael's show now, and I hope they don't continue to treat everybody like a revolving door. Like, hopefully they won't have to now, because they can just literally, like you said, do whatever they want for the most part. Mm-hmm. And I kind of wish now that, since it's kind of like these little stovepipes, that they would do almost just like Star Trek doctors. Star Trek
SVU
engineering, right? Like, yes, like just give me a fucking sector of.
Well,
them.
I bet
like,
you
if we're gonna do all of these like offshoot shows, like then give me like the Star Trek version of ER,
right.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want to see. Like,
I don't
when
hate
the
that
security
idea.
shit comes up, like give me the Star Trek like SVU, CSI, like whatever, you know.
Well, like a Star Trek Red Shirt show where like they just keep dying off, and you're like, I don't even know what to do right now. Like the whole crew of like security guys who's like, hey,
Star Trek training.
Roll call every morning is like Smith, Jones. Nope, Jones died. George, no, he's dead too. Like really, like guys.
Yeah, and just make it like
Police Academy.
Yeah, like just completely comedy take on the whole thing. Like, we're not even going to really deal with the space travel. We're just going to, it's there. And like, we'll say, yes, we've gone into this and blah, blah, blah. But then it'd just be 30 minutes of just Three Stooges-esque people basically dying and like trying to be like healed or like coming back like ultra maimed. And they're like, holy shit, a Smith. Is that a Smith? Like, you know, or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe all the red shirts always die because literally the night before they were at like a funeral, like they were all drinking to their dead buddy from the day before. So they always roll into work hungover, and they always go down to the planet hungover, and they're like, and they just keep dying off. That's just like an endless cycle.
Just infinite cycle alcoholism. In death.
Okay, let's see. What else was good about the show? Everything with Giorgio was fantastic. Her whole thing with Leland. In fact, we got what we bitched about for that other, for the one episode where the other guy who was infested with the nanobots, we got the magnets being turned on while they were inside. So I was like, hey, at least we got that. And then you had Giorgio in his fight, and they had the hallway fight with the where the gravity was all fucked up. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was like very Inception-esque.
And then I like, I wish I could remember what she said.
I know what she said. I wrote it
time
down.
Leland pops on the screen, man. God damn it.
when she was like, no one likes you.
yeah.
Well, then it was even better because it got like as her and shit. I'm blanking. What's the red shirt security girl's name? Nan. As her as Nan, we're going to break in the door, and she's like, when we get this door open, you want to join me and help in making Leland scream? And she was like, yum, yum. And I'm like, what's... I was like, that was kind of hot. I was like, where did that come from? Like, yum, yum. I'm like, who wrote that? And I'm like, where... I was like, that even... Like, I want that to be ad-lib, and that's the best ad-lib ever. And I was like, okay, now you're kind of hot to me.
Yeah, I just feel like shit like that has to be...
Ad-libbed?
I mean, yeah, like, at a part like that, like, where... You know, characters in the show, they go, all right, you got fucking 5 takes. Give us your best shit, or we're going with the line, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I always just imagine if I was a director, and like I would be like, all right, you know, guys, we got the schedule, blah 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 blah. But I would have to try to make it as like fun as possible. So I would most certainly, it wouldn't just be outtakes. I would have to do shit like that. I'd be like, all right, this is what this guy got paid to write. We took a side bet over here, you know, and like, so what's the best 5 you got? And we're gonna see how this all shakes out. And we're gonna like have the crew vote for the take, you know, like.
I would like to know the story behind those 2 words, yum yum. Just tell me the story behind that. Like, where did that come from? I need to know that really bad out of this whole show. That's what I need to know right now.
Yeah, like I want it to be.
And they were fucking with him hard too. Like they weren't just staring down his rifle. They were like, I know where your data is, which means you're not going to shoot me. And then it was just like, then they were just fucking with him. The whole fight.
And then I like how when it like when they're on the little standstill, and you know their backs to the door, and he's there, and they all got guns on everybody, and it's like, ooh shit, who's gonna fire first? And like no one fires, and all of a sudden the fucking ship rocks, and she fucking fires off a shot at him, and it's just he like looked like, oh, that was the go. Okay, I got you. Yeah,
right. Oh man, what else was good? Did you like? Did you like? I understand what they're going with Cornwell's sacrifice. Like go her like I understand it's like, okay, no one can pull this lever but the person from the inside. I mean, could you not find a piece of rope or cable or something and like pop the hatch and like tie it to the handle and then like yank it down? I'm like, come on, from the other side. I was like,
Right,
I'm not sure you have to be doing that. I did like her thing with Pike though, where he's like, I live, so let's me just stay here. We know it won't go off because I live. And she's like, you gonna take that bet with all the people on the ship? And he's like, okay.
Yeah. She's like, this isn't your journey's in, and he's like, yeah, no shit. Like,
but he's doing what we said if we get a Pike show, it should be is like, I can't die, bitches. Let's fucking
Right?
go.
Yeah.
I'll stand here in front of this phaser flash and go to work. It'll be fine. So,
like he would be what like we all want like the Bear Grylls show to like really be.
like he just walks over and punches a bear in the face.
Well, because he's always doing like fucking insane shit, but at the same time, it's like I want him to up it just a little bit more. Like you're like just a little bit more, you crazy fucker. And I feel like he would if he knew like Pike shit.
Like, I'm not gonna die here.
All right, like I know when that moment like. And we would get probably one of the greatest TV shows ever.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be like, hey, yo, I'm just going to go sink to the bottom of the lake, guys, and fucking give me cameras. We're going to go check this shit out.
Yeah.
Back in 2 hours. Because he's an explorer.
True. So, I guess I almost feel like I need to split this episode into two portions. You have the big fight, like both crews working, everybody's trying to fight off Leland's stuff, all the pods and getting Michael ready, and that stuff was cool. I felt that one of the ham-fisted things where I felt like it was just smashed in there was Stamets getting injured just to get him into sickbay. Because the only reason he got injured was to get into sickbay, and all of us know that Culber stayed on Discovery and didn't stay on the Enterprise. Like we could have found that out next season. But it's like, oh, let's give us this happy ending. Now you give them like this. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, see, the worst part is he's like, I'm going to induce coma. So next season when he wakes up, like, he's not going to fucking remember any of it, and he's going to be like, I don't know what you said, but I've already decided to part ways.
Oh,
and then,
God damn it!
And we're going to have the whole reverse fucking scenario.
I hope not. Let's have them. Can they just be together? That's what I'm saying. Just let them be together. We've bitched about this whole season.
But yeah, you could have done way better with this. I mean, you could have done way better with that whole thing from the get-go. Like, but it was just, get him there. Now they're going to rekindle, or at least he's moving on with the same crew kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, why? You could have just had him there next season, like, because he was just in sickbay, like,
yeah.
And then maybe he could have been like, you know what? That really cool thing I talked about, how it was like always you at the center and I always came back to you. Like, maybe when the fucker was like recovered and awake. I don't know.
Right. Well,
good idea.
Exactly. Imagine thinking Stamets not being injured, having traveled to the future and thinking he was 930 years from his, love. And then that guy turns the corner and then like that tear-inducing scene. But no, we get Stamets getting all squishy because they didn't really show his injury, but they audioed his injury because when he fell, you could see his shirt was like torn and it was red, but like you could hear like the squirting of blood, and I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, like something's not good. Like something's not good on you right now, sir. You need to get yourself a Band-Aid, bro. Like that's not good.
You need that magic wand thing, homie.
Yeah, I feel there were way too many conversations like that this episode during a giant firefight. Like all those things are things to be done after the phasers are done firing and they're cooling off. Not Culber having this great emotional conversation with the, like, and when you say I'm inducing coma, I expect when you hit me with a hypo spray, like I go out, I don't talk for another 2 minutes. I go to sleep.
Right? Like, okay, that too. And second of all, I feel if you're inducing someone in a coma, that speech is not the first thing on your mind. Like, you got to be doing that shit to save someone's life. So wouldn't you be like focused more on the problem? I mean,
He was waving his
right?
magic wand thing. He's fine. He's fine. It's real easy being a doctor in the future. Come on.
Well, I know they do that, but it's also like you're inducing a coma, so like the magic wand thing obviously isn't the go-to solution right here, right? You know, like start next season with the harrowing episode of him like using the space MRI or whatever, or like fucking getting in there and actually having to like do real doctor shit because it's intricate. I don't fucking know.
Right.
Like, give me a reason to actually make him save his life, not just like, hey man, I got this shit I want to tell you, but I'm gonna knock you the fuck out first.
What if Stamets was so knocked out it was actually a hallucination? That sounds like something they would do to those two, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, dude, like whatever writer
is in charge of their plot line.
Hates them two, man. Like I don't know what those actors did to him, but fuck, man.
Yeah.
The guy steering that ship hates him.
Let's see. What else was really good about this show? Okay, well, let's talk about some of the ham-fisted stuff. So you had Culber's stuff. You had Burnham and Spock's, like, goodbye that took, like, she gave him, like, some last-minute sisterly advice that pretty much told him, like, this is what bothered me. She was like, go find your polar... I don't know the exact wording, but she said, go find someone who is the furthest from you. Like, the furthest thing away from what you are. You're logical and calm and collected. So go. She literally said, "Go find Kirk." Is what she said. She's the one that set him in motion in seeking out that kind of person and befriending that person above all else. That's what she told. And so, like, I don't need you to do that. Like, I don't fucking need you to do that. I don't need that to be. I don't need that. I don't need everything in Star Trek canon to tie back to Burnham.
Yeah, right. Like,
fuck.
Yeah, that's the problem with doing stuff like that, because new viewers won't catch it. Like, they'll just be like, "Oh, cool."
I mean, it's If you're
like
you, because you're not a Trekkie, you Corey. If you're you, that speech is just good sisterly advice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I also know, like, I was like, "Yo, man, this is kind of describing like the reckless captain."
Right.
Like, you know, like I was like, because it would have been one thing. I don't know, I guess if she said something like that, but it was, I don't know, along the lines of like, from love or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to try to like make his emotions more of a priority kind of thing a little bit too in his life. I'm only using love because it's just a big one. But like, whatever that catalyst could have been, right, kind of thing. Like, that was cool, but you're right. I feel like everybody that is, you know, a Trek fan, that would consider themselves in the know, especially if you are not on board with the whole, like, Michael bloodline, right? Like,
the Skywalker bloodline, where nothing happens except through her. Yeah.
Yeah, like, that has to be maddening. You're just, like, really, like, they couldn't have just, like, been fucking buddies that were, like, the opposites, kind of, you know, like, and that's how it worked out. Like, it had to be the sister that no one knew about.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
Like, it just goes, that's one of those things I feel like where you go, just let it be. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. You don't need to fix it, right? Like, I don't know who wrote that or whatever, but I always feel like it's just like they like were sticking it to somebody.
You know what this reminds me a lot of, especially this episode with all of the fixing they did in an hour and 5 minutes of like, let's make everybody happy and let's make everything line up with canon, and we'll explain why no one's talking about Discovery. We'll explain why Spock and Kirk are such great friends, and we'll explain things and things and things. It reminds me a lot of Solo. The movie Solo. We talked about this like the entire movie of Solo. The fact that they literally, Disney had a whiteboard that said, okay, here's all the weird shit they said about Han Solo and all of his things. What's key to him? Now, let's go back and tell those stories in one movie only. And let's check off every single one of these boxes, even though we didn't need to. Like, I don't need you to do that. And I definitely don't need Michael to be the center of it all.
It would have been cool, the more I think about this show now, if they would have just done like a CBS All Access movie and just did it like an hour and a half and just did the first 2 seasons. And kind of, because a lot of stuff that was like carried over, you could have really just kind of stuck together, and easily knocked it out. And then just season 3, boom, episodes, guys. We're going to give you fucking episodes of new shit. We can do whatever the fuck we want, and like, I don't feel it would have felt so like it was so drawn out.
Right.
And like, so then cleaned up. It would have just been, oh, cool. We're getting some of the canon and like some backstory, and it would have just been done in a movie. But like, I feel most of the people that watch this show by like episode 4 were like, I know what's happening, guys. I know what you're doing to me. And I don't want to believe it, and then like everyone would just theorize like what it was. And then there would always be like the other comments that were just like, yeah, but it's most likely this. Like we want what you're asking, but what we've seen so far is you're asking too much. Like, it's going to be this.
Yeah.
Everybody just already knew where it was going.
And it was very much written as if season 3 was still up in the air. Like, they wrote it where if the show got canceled after season 2, these 2 seasons could stand on their own as being what they were. Like, the ship goes in the future, Spock is the way Spock is, and like, it was written that way, but the problem is that the show I want to watch is what happens in season 3, where it can literally become Star Trek, because it is, what adventure are we getting into this week? Because we're somewhere something we've never seen before. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like this one, it's like, if they had not gotten to season 3, then this would have stood as a part of a canon in this timeline, this portion of the timeline that we hadn't really explored at all. And it would have told, season 2 definitely would have told a lot of it. Season 2 wasn't about Michael, even though she was the catalyst of everything. It was Pike and Spock's story. And you got to see, from what little we knew about them before that time, like that whole thing. And that was interesting to me. Anything that it was about their storyline, I was intrigued with, was like, okay, cool, I'm on board for this.
It would have almost been neat if they could have found a way to make it like more about them. Almost everybody else but Michael, because like Michael was the solution, but like she was also the one that was kind of like the furthest knowing what's going on a lot of the time.
Right.
And it would have been neat if all of these things that Michael were doing were playing out in the background, and then we were kind of watching like everybody else's like stuff go on, almost just like she kind of knew. You know what I'm saying? Like that weird universal vibe kind of thing. Like, it always seemed that instead of making it where it was like Michael would go save Michael, right? Have like the serendipity kind of thing. Like, she always hooked a right when some shit went down and like avoided something kind of thing. So like when we like realized what it was, we're like, holy shit, dude, look at all those fucking dominoes that had to fall in place to make that happen, right?
Right. Okay, so let me ask this question, because I've thought about this since the finale. Could this series have worked if they just started in season 3? If literally the first shot we saw was a ship coming through a wormhole with the girl in a friggin' angel outfit, and like you're like, what? And then you had a cross, like during the season, you had a cross between flashback episodes to kind of tell you, because you're right, let's not pretend that you couldn't tell the last 29 episodes. You couldn't tell all that stuff in like 4 episodes. really so you could like once or twice a season have like a back in Stardate whatever, here in the timeline of Star Trek, here's where we are, and like,
right? Do you like the shows some of the shows used to do when like the holidays would roll around, and they would actually not just do like a holiday themed episode, but they actually kind of became like larger than life episodes, right? Like
musicals.
Like, yeah, sometimes, yeah, right. Like where it was like some episodes that were always serious would just kind of like go, nah, man, we're just totally fucking around this kind of episode, and like, yeah, they would solve a murder while singing or whatever, and you're just like,
I'm on board. Yeah, right.
Appreciate it.
Right.
It would have been cool if you're right, like just pop through the wormhole, and then
they could almost,
like every Thanksgiving there's going to be like part 2 of part 4 that explains like the back, and they're like hour episodes or some shit like that. And you're just like,
or like TV,
oh.
but almost like the premiere of season 1, where it was pretty much a 2-hour movie. Like,
some shit like
do
that.
that once a season for like 2 or 3 seasons, and also have people during that time also just referencing stuff that we have no clue about. Be like, yeah, and that one time when we saw the Thessalonians after, and then you're like, what? You're like, wait, what are we talking? That almost would have worked better because you were already, and then along with that, just getting your normal weekly, we're 950 years in the future, we have no clue. You're like, what's the old Saturday Night Live, like caveman lawyer? What are these new things? They are new to me. So now that Control doesn't exist, does that mean that there is a version there's like sentient life now in the future, right? So it's not like they're going to they're just 950 years in the future in the Beta Quadrant, really. They're just nowhere near Starfleet. Is that where we are now? There's still human life. It's not like they can't pop their head up now. And we know that all of season 3 is going to be pretty much learning how Discovery is going to become sentient and them adjusting to that. It's got to be.
Yeah, something like that. Well, yeah, because they apparently See, it's weird because they created the loop and closed the loop all on the same go, right? So it's like, and the funny way they did it, and is so like Michael has to like realize that something's going wrong or whatever, and then before everything can happen, she's like, I got to go make all the jumps.
Right. Okay. So did they do enough when her mother was on screen for all of 30 seconds to tell us that she didn't do any of the other stuff? That it was all like she only came back for that one time when Michael was almost going to die, and then the time with Spock. Like she didn't do any. Like I don't think. Maybe I'm stupid, and tweet at me if I'm stupid. Those of you listening, if they were specific enough to say, we know she knew nothing about the red burst, but I always felt like it was the red bursts were separate from her travels, so the angel could have been her, but the red bursts were Michael. But all of the red bursts that we saw with the angel were Michael, where she appeared in front of herself with her leg stabbed, when she appeared in front of Saru, when she shot whatever she fucking shot at the goddamn Baul stuff. Like, but I still don't know what she shot. No one ever fucking said that. Like, what are you shooting? Were you shooting the same thing you saved Michael with when she was dead? Like, what does that suit do? Like, you didn't tell me. That's the worst part, is like, you didn't science me enough. Like, you just, now don't get me wrong. Apart from like Interstellar and the way they handled wormholes and black holes and time travel and shit like that, the visuals of her traveling where things went 2D and shit, like that was fucking sweet looking. That was just cool. Like,
oh yeah, the
visuals of her jumping, and then like where she's like screaming, like she's getting like the shower of like sparks in her face, and like all she is just like screaming, and like she's in like the fetal position because she didn't know what the hell is going on. You're right. We've never complained ever about the actors. They're all fantastic. The visuals are always great. It's like the storyline is like, come on.
Yeah, the worst part is I really don't feel like the writers are bad. I feel it's one of those things where somebody with a bigger ring to kiss is like, nah, this is what we're gonna do.
Figure out how to make Spock want Kirk.
Yeah,
write it
and like make it happen.
right.
And everyone's kind of like, but we could do these really cool things that like everybody else on the internet is shouted at the top of their lungs, and then the fucking square peg round hole guys like, no, make it fit.
Right. You know what? And shame on us for not saying that up front, because you're right. I feel like we've been like taking a giant steaming dump on the writers, and it's not the stories. Let's not pretend like the last 2 seasons stories haven't been intriguing, and there haven't been some absolute knock it out of the park Star Trek episodes in the past 2 seasons. There have been some fantastic episodes, and there haven't been a whole bunch of stinkers. Those are just the ones where it's like, oh, you want to tell me some, but you really going to tell me the rest like in an episode or 2? Like, that's fine. And just don't tell me anything this episode. Don't even like tease me. You know what I mean, bro?
Yeah, and some of the episodes, like I said, they feel like not things had to happen, but it was almost, we didn't know if we were getting season 3 or, in season 1, it was kind of like, it almost seemed right away like, hey, season 2's happening. So it was like, whatever, or
CBS All Access. It's like, we have 4 million subscribers now when we had 250,000. You guys can have whatever you want.
Or when they were writing the first season, they knew it may just be a one-off. They're like, all right, hey man, this is our best foot forward.
Let's tell a great story.
Kind of thing. And then season 2 came around and they're like, hey, we got this super duper awesome idea. And I felt like somebody up at the top was just sitting there going like, with Yo-Yo, I don't know, guys, what you got for me this week? Kind of thing. And they're like, how about this? And he's like, well, I like Michael. How can Michael be more involved, right? And that's just what happened.
Right. We can
and
literally...
and then, and like, Burnham gets on screen and she looks at everybody else. She goes like, mouth sorry before every fucking like action scene. Like,
I don't know why I'm here. You should definitely be doing this.
Right? I don't want to be here, guys.
You like...
She's fucking dead. She's just acted for like 12 days straight. Like, she's like, fuck, man, can I just... Anybody else want to... They're like, I'll tag me in. Right. And they're like, no, more Michael now.
Yeah, there was that string of episodes where she cried for pretty much the entire episode, and I was like, that's got to be just like a drain on you as an actor. Like, they are fucking you up.
Those were probably all just real tears, and it was just her so exhausted from acting that someone was like, throw a suit on her, put her in bed. We got her weeping scenes now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's just bawling and they're just moving her around everywhere.
What'd you think of our girl? The only way she could fix the shields is with her eyes closed, because the only time she ever did it was blindfolded during a drinking game. Tilly.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even, like, the first watch through, I was like, what are you talking, like, what did you just say? Like, I don't get it.
That's like when, did you ever watch Beer Fest?
No, I have not seen Beer Fest.
What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry, dude.
Sorry, that was aggressive.
I know. Jesus. I didn't react that harsh. You said you hated this episode.
Shit.
The fuck is wrong with you? Dude, there's 7 million TV shows available to watch at any time. How the fuck did you not find that one?
Oh, fuck, man. Shit. God damn it, that's a good one. Okay, so, anywho, it's a movie, and there's a scene where they get, like, all drunk and they stumble upon the beer fest. It's like Beer Olympics. And then there's a whole scene where they try to get, like, back to it. Like, I don't know. And they're like, well, there's this theory about, some guy that was taught Spanish while drinking and could only recollect it when he was drinking kind of thing.
Right.
And so they get all fucking hammered again, and then, like, you see him, like, drink the whole scenario all over and, like, stumble back to where the location is and shit. So that's what I was thinking of when Tilly was, like, her blindfolded thing. And I was like, ha-ha! I was waiting for her to yodel, because there's a whole scene where the guy has to fucking yodel.
Yeah, that was interesting. So... but so, like, Poe's scene where she stole one of the shuttles and was like, I claim diplomatic immunity. I'm not talking about this. Let me help you guys out, because I'm way better at all this tactical shit than you trained officers are.
Yeah, that was cool as shit. I like that. I like how she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do my thing.
You know what really?
We all know how this goes.
What really sucks though?
I don't like how they just like magically threw Saru's sister in there and they just like explain it away. It's like, oh, you learned how to fly shuttles now
in a hoodie, in like a hoodie and a leather jacket. I was like, what are you wearing? Like, at least if you're gonna be freaking gold team, man, put a helmet on or something. Damn. But yeah. So then you drop shit like that where they're in Baul fighters, which means the Kelpians have taken over the Baul as they used to, taken all their shit and kicked them to the curb, like, and they're flying around in their ships, being fighter pilots in Baul ships. So, like, they're fine in like a month or some months of learning about technology other than staring at it and praying to it. Like that, I want to. That's another open-ended thing.
How
How
much of an apex
predator are you
in that predator prey relationship here, because holy shit.
Yeah, they just walked on board and said, "Give me your shit, give me your lunch money."
Mm-hmm.
That was another So the best part, because we just talked in length about all of the things they closed up around canon that we didn't need closed up, but they left their own plot holes open, like the Kelpian thing. They also, so all of a sudden, it's okay that Ash is alive because he's standing there on the deck of the Klingon ship with his woman, speaking out over the comms to everybody, when she literally just told everybody she cut his head off a while back, like months ago. And so now it's cool that Ash is around again, and he got them to come save. Don't get me wrong, bringing in that Cleave ship. If you remember from way back at the Battle of the Binary Stars, that's the last time we saw a Klingon Cleave ship. It's the one that came in cloaked and killed that one captain's whole ship. That is a sweet machine. And then they give us, in fact, when I watched this episode the first time, I must have been pouring my drink or something, because I didn't even see the 1.5 second shot we got of the D7 battlecruisers firing photon torpedoes, like the new Klingon ships. They gave us, it was like literally 1 or 2 seconds, and that was it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's all I get? That's it? Because they made a big the D7 will be here in 2 minutes. We're like, yeah, fuck it. I wanted them to roll in there and just wreck ship, man. Damn, they give me 2 seconds of bloop bloop. Like, fuck, that's what you give me in this whole firefight. Damn it. I don't know. So those things bothered me. It sucks. So since Poe stole the shuttle, Poe's not on Poe. Since she stole the shuttle and she was hanging out around the bottom of the cloud of fighters, she's not on Discovery. So that sucks. I was kind of hoping she was going to hang out with them on board. I mean, we know she's a queen, but who gives a shit? Come on, let her be on the ship too, man. They're coming back at some point.
Yeah, honestly, she seems to beat to her own drum.
Yeah, so she could have been you're in charge until I come back. I mean, it is time travel. You could literally come back to the exact same time way down the road, as the fight is ending. Come on.
Yeah, and plus she also kind of seems like the best hope they would have to say...
fix anything. Think outside the box.
Tilly's on par with that. And Stamets, don't get me wrong, he's more of, once the idea has came, he then has, once they know that their formulated idea, works, he's very tunnel vision, but he's he's wide open to all the possibilities from the get-go.
Right.
She just seemed like the person that was the glue to put it all together. She's ultra smart too, but she's the final cog that's this is what we need, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you had that whole situation of, well, are you guys really just going to write the series where they all just turn into skeletons and shoot off into space kind of scenario because they're just dead? Or at some point, are you guys going to quote unquote save them where they
come back? Yeah.
Kind of thing. If that was ever the case, which it's obviously not, because she would be on the ship if it was. Right.
Oh, at least we have Reno. At least we have Jet Reno, who her one spot where she's like, I'm on my way. Get off my ass. Get off my ass, sir.
Yeah. She's a welcome addition.
She really is. She'll be. I mean, she'll be she was always kind of like a guest star, but now she's full cast. She's gonna be there all the time. Her and Stamets and yeah, she's okay for season 3 in my book.
Well, she's also the only other person now that Pike's gone that is also kind of a blunt object.
Mm-hmm. Well, she is a commander too. She's fairly high ranking, even though she's an engineer.
Well, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Pike was smart and Pike could kick ass, but Pike just you knew he was in your corner kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? You're all right, I'm glad that guy's got my back.
He wasn't coming up with the ideas.
No one else on that ship, I know they're all badasses in their own right. Saru could fuck a lot of people up, but I'm still not going to feel super great about Saru in my corner. But her though, I'm she just puts off that vibe of you do not want any of this. And I'm saying, like, she's the only person left on that ship that puts off that vibe, unless Saru's, like, going full-blown, like, alpha again.
Right.
You know, like, because that shit was like, woo, that motherfucker's got it. But no one else has got that swagger left on the ship. So, like, I'm glad she's there. Because, like, if she wasn't, I mean, there's a lot of daisies that are, like, secretly tough. But I kind of like just to see the person that you know is just rugged. Like, they're going to smash their thumb and then, like, put it in their mouth real quick and be like, son of a bitch. And go back about their business.
Right.
You know?
Right. Agreed. Yeah, she'll be welcome next season. But, yeah, it's, you know, the whole thing at the end where they were interviewing the people from the Enterprise, and they were all telling the same story. And you had, you know, Spock gave his speech about which regulation about time travel keeps them from ever speaking about Discovery or the Spore Drive or Burnham or anything ever again. You know, that answers all the questions that everyone asking that we shouldn't have been asking. Why has nobody heard about it? Why have we heard about all the other millions of people in Starfleet over the years? Like, there's a whole bunch of stories we've never heard. Like, quit asking about it. You know what I mean? So that was it.
And I didn't like how they only showed, like, the back of the interviewer's head and then, like, below his nose line.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's there for mystery because he's, like...
just a faceless person from Starfleet, pretty much.
Yeah, but it also gives you that whole... Holy shit, dude, like, X-Files vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't ever see
like Deep Throat.
the eyeballs. Right? Yeah, so you're like...
The smoking man.
Who the fuck's this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, he's really just like Tom from accounting who like got a promotion.
Just some rando interrogator. No one cares. He's going to write this report. It's going to get filed. No one cares. One thing that did come out of it that makes me intrigued for the Georgiou show is you saw that they reported her dead. They reported Georgiou as being dead, along with the rest of the Discovery crew. So she's now no one. She's now Arya Stark. She's the faceless man now, faceless woman now.
Well, apparently with that weird like cloaking mask shit, she already kind of was.
Truth, but so I mean, I'm sure she'll find it easier to
navigate between in the gray.
Yeah,
areas.
to be, you know, his number 2 is someone else or is nobody, as she doesn't even exist, which is like exactly what Section 31 needs, is somebody who doesn't exist.
Which is like what everybody in real life ever wanted. Would just be like, I just want a functioning role, but no one know I exist. But like those 6 people.
Right.
And then to everyone else, I'm just nameless and faceless until I want to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, dream scenario.
Yep. We also got to hear number 1's name to the effect though that it wasn't even in the subtitles. But he said it, because I had to rewind it like 3 times. Like, did the guy just not type it? Or they leave out her, but from what I understand, from what I read in the novels, they've said her name before, because they've only in the show ever listed her as number 1. But her at least her first name is Una, which is kind of funny because it's like the feminine version of Uno, which is one is, I don't know, but it was like he said something about like you know, the con is yours, Una, as he was like down there on the something he said.
Oh yeah,
on the.
I heard that, but I honestly didn't know that was like the first time.
No one's ever heard her. Yeah, no one's ever heard her name out loud.
I just thought he just chose that moment in time to like use her real name because it was kind of.
It was one of those like,
hey, I know this is not nickname time, but like we're better,
right?
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it was just. That
was cool.
That was one little thing that happened, and then, I mean, that's really it. You're right. Like the show literally took place in about the path of about 15 real minutes. The whole hour and 5-minute show. I wasn't a huge fan of the flashbacks, especially flashbacks to episodes that were like right before, like the last episode. Like, you don't have to do that. Just like and that was it. So while I feel like the last hour of this podcast has been us griping about the show, I hope that at least a little bit of our admiration, the fact that we get so worked up over it means that we do care about the show and do enjoy the show enough for it to affect us in this way. I do. You're like, can't say that. He just put words in my mouth. No, the Trekkie at least.
No, I like it, and I'm hopeful for like season 3 because it's technically like a clean slate. I'm like, all right, maybe we'll get a little bit more, but I mean, if they push Michael down my throat again, like and it's just always, and you can tell, like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind if Michael's the character that's like pretty much always on the screen because it's written that way and everybody else is involved. But if you basically write me something again where an episode or two I'm in, I'm like, okay, someone entered the cheat code. I get it. God mode.
Right.
Like, nothing's gonna happen to her, right? I don't want to watch that. I don't care about that. I got zippy interest in it because then I know you're never gonna pay enough attention to anybody else for the show who deserve it as well.
Agreed.
And I'm not gonna hang around for that.
Agreed.
But like if you just kind of go, hey guys, this is what it is. That's what we got. Now we're just gonna give you sentient good and fucking let's go figure out what space is all about.
Let's go see what happens down there in 30 years in the future. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to. Like, let's see that because you're right. The first season was all the mirror universe and Burnham's ties to Giorgio and to what was the other captain's name? Malfoy. That guy.
That guy you claimed that was a big name that you couldn't remember, that I was like, I don't really think he's that big of a name, but I think we just proved my point.
Lorca. Yeah. So between Giorgio and Lorca, their ties to her, so that's why she was the center focus of the first season, and then you have this season with her ties to Spock and his whole backstory. Okay, so you're right. There is no excuse at all for her to be the catalyst of anything going forward. Let's just make it a Star Trek show with this awesome crew that you have built for us minorly, very minorly around her. Now let's explore all of them and let's make it, let's be about it because what it's going to be is the fight and air quotes, because is it going to be a fight for the captaincy? Does Saru get it? Does she get it? Does somebody else who thinks they should see it? Are they going to fight for it? I don't know. It's that's going to be.
Didn't they give it to Saru?
No, Saru literally said we'll discuss that if the plan works. So that means they'll figure it out in the future. The two of them will figure out who the captain's going to be, and she's going to say, "Well, I have giant plot armor, so let me be captain." And he'll say, "Well, I can break you in half and run faster."
It would be. I feel like it would be wiser than to make her the number 2 and not make it some usurping or like coup or anything. Just like Michael going, you've kind of been at this a little bit longer. We've been best friends. Like, who more important to learn under in this situation kind of thing, and then have it like where it gets to the point because the spaceship obviously is gonna get smart, and then you get to do two things where it's like Captain 1A and Captain 1B just go like sporing into fucking two separate places, and you can kind of get like co-stories moving on and stuff like that because everybody's kind of important now. Mm-hmm. I hope it wouldn't just be like they're like Michael gets the chair kind of thing, and like you maybe have like 20 minutes of like Saru
sulking.
Cool. Well, no, like I was gonna actually say like him like barking, but then like they go, see, you've been alpha too short. You don't know how to control the shit. Yada yada yada, and then everyone's like, I kind of feel you might be right.
I feel like
something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like you could like have the computer make the choice. Like you could like put it in and be like, okay, here's my record, here's her record, who's captain? And the computer goes, well, the one who hasn't committed mutiny for one.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. That I have a feeling that could be a plot element, and the lack.
I hope they don't make it though. Like I don't care who really is captain, quote unquote. Like I just want it to be a thing where it's like high five and we're cool and we're just done.
It would be nice. That would be nice because that's
it's not a like drawn out like candidacy kind of thing. They just write it in, they tell us who it is, and they go, that's that. We're done. We're moving on. Mm-hmm. And there's no like written kind of like background character resentment,
Agreed. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if you come back for season 3 when it happens down the road. I'll try to convince you by then. It'll be a year from now. We'll be okay. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I know it will.
So, okay, that's it for us for Star Trek. That's the end of this season. Another successful season of us reviewing and yammering about shows for an hour plus of your time. If you are not aware and missed the last podcast we released, we are now on Game of Thrones final season, season 8. We are knocking it out. We are excited. Please tune into that. It'll be out here shortly in the next few days, as long as the website that hosts our podcast allows me to put it up. I don't know how many I have per month, so we'll see. It's been a little bit hectic recording schedule here with Discovery ending and Game of Thrones beginning overlapping. So and then after Game of Thrones, it's kind of up in the air. You and I have talked about stuff, but we're not really sure where we're going with that. We'll figure out what we're going to review, if it's movies or more TV. If you have any ideas you want us to review, whether it be new shows that are coming out, new seasons that are coming out here in the next, 5 weeks, 6 weeks or whatever, let us know, tweet at us, and we'll keep an eye out for those. And until then, remember to like and subscribe and share it with your friends, and we'll catch you guys next podcast.
Yeah, guys, thanks for coming. Take care.